Where is the middle class going? Australia used to be the envy of the world for its lifestyle and the way everyone genuinely could have a fair go, and get the fruits of their labours in the form of a 1/4-acre block etc. etc. Now the middle class has been slashed overnight, and is rapidly shrinking at an alarming rate. What are the social consequences of this going to be? Lack of stable housing is the obvious one, but what else? Higher crime rates? Greater unemployment as people give up? Education not being as valued? What happens when AI gets integrated more, and unemployment inevitably goes up whilst we continue to import skilled workers from wealthy families who invest family wealth into real estate and not actually work, and so on? Bit of a ramble, but I'm curious, what the hell is happening and what will the flow-on effects be on this road we are speeding down? What would happen in an environment with high interest rates, high unemployment, endless cash injection in real estate? Makes my head spin. Intelligent discussion, please. This is an extremely exaggerated version of what is happening. Plenty of middle-class folk about. And where are these people that used to envy Australian lifestyle and now somehow don't? Where specifically do they live? Is unemployment from RE similar to the unemployment from the introduction of computers? You will be expected to work to a similar pay and benefit of our overseas counterparts. And the best part is we'll also use our environment to same level, so random trash dumpings, increase in break-ins, families living all in the one house, hostile anti-homeless infrastructure, AWL-style employment agreements with the common wage theft. Initially we were slowly evolving into this, but the recent greed of landlords and food supply paths has increased it exponentially. I have been saying this for decades, just look at America if you want to see Australia's future. Increased mental health issues, homelessness, drug use, violence, polarized politics, systemic corruption, apathy. If we don't come together and make change, our path is already laid out for us. Most people do not even think about Australia. It was not the envy of the world. Rude of you to exclude those of us not capable of intelligent discussion. Exclusionary. Reported. You forgot that agriculture yields will lower in coming years due to weather driving those costs up too. Tent cities. The working homeless. Desperate poor people, more violence and mental health issues. According to this fruits of your labor are expected to be reaped 5 years into the workforce, at which point you are entitled to a house 5 kilometers from the center of the CBD. I own a house 5 kilometers from the center of the Sydney CBD. It took 20 years of grinding life, 25 if you include grinding from year 11, through uni. People just want everything for nothing, and they want it now. That's the problem. Debates aside about whether or not the middle class is actually disappearing, the answer is income distribution. Fewer people have more of the money. In the 1950s, the bottom 90 of the country by income got about 96 of the country's real per adult economic growth. Today the top 10 receive 93. So almost complete reversal. The top 10 receive nearly all of the benefits of economic growth, while there is virtually nothing left for almost all of the population. But stage 3 tax cuts, hooray yes. Intelligent discussion, please. That would require an intelligent starting point. This is just the ramblings of an uneducated crazy person. That's cute that you think education is still valued in Australia when university lecturers are some of the most precariously employed people in the country, when there is a constant barrage of media opinionators pushing the line of what is useful knowledge, and what is not useful without having any of the former themselves. When the tradie and the sportsperson is idolized and the intellectual is sneered at. Yeah, nah. This is not reality. Straight to jail, do not pass GO, do not collect $200. Who is middle class nowadays? Can someone explain? Join a union. Going to lower class. We are going to 2-bedroom apartments, that is where we are going. Same thing as happened around the developed world. We sent the previously unionized, well-paying manufacturing jobs to the less developed countries like Bangladesh. It worked out okay for a while due to cheaper TVs, cars, and clothes, but now the pinch is being felt. Middle class is being decimated across the West. Welcome to neo-feudalism, buddy. You will eat the bugs. Down, down, classes are down. Define middle-class income? I have been thinking about this for a while. How much further can we stretch before the system breaks? How can any business make money when no one has money to spend? The future I see is an Australia where 3 generations of a family are forced to live in the same house. The older members get a room, kids sleep on the floor in the living room or kitchen. We do each other's haircuts and hand down clothes, live on rice, potatoes, and noodles, no car, no higher education. The future will be a lot like the past in this regard, I think. The country was sold off by boomers. Immigration is killing the quality of life for the middle working class. More congestion, higher cost of living, slower wage growth, greater competition for scarce housing, etc., etc. Why can't you have a 1/4-acre block for? How much do you want to spend, and let's see if we can find you one. Would you pay $260,000 for 5 acres near beaches in an underdeveloped part of a coastline? AI is going to be massive. Most of face-to-face retail will disappear, offices will be slashing staff. Housing crashes have happened before. It's just been a while. People are losing their shit now, and we aren't even at 7, a fairly normal rate historically. The average person in the street is becoming angry. It is this type of underlying angry that gets people like Trump voted in. It feels like you need to be a top 5 earning household to remain in the middle class. Life living in inner Sydney on a low salary is tough. There can be no middle class. But it's probably always been like that. If you're a low-paid worker and finding life tough in a city, you need to move out to a regional area where housing is cheaper and minimum wages are exactly the same. If life's tough and you're on a decent wage, you might need to look at lifestyle. Of course, there are people who slip through the cracks who cannot relocate, are already spending as little as possible, and I'm honestly sympathetic towards them. But that's not the vast majority who seem to be complaining. Careful, mate. The property gals are strong in this post. It doesn't help that your post rambled, and that it sounded like Chicken Little. Mate, this country is on the skids. Aussies will be poor while immigrants stay will be the poorer classes. Nothing to do with personal finance, LMAO. Why's everyone complaining out of the sudden in the last 2 or so days? Bahaha. The middle class has been eaten away for a while now. The government just protects the bourgeoisie class and lets us proletariats toil away. Something that I find interesting is that wages have been going up faster than inflation. Unemployment is currently well below historical average, and the cash rate is also currently a little below the historical average. Something does seem to be going on though, and I wonder if the inflation numbers are being cooked, or if there's just a general perspective shift going on, or maybe a combination of both. Australia is still envy of the world, bifurcating along with the rest of the Western world. In early 2021 I was talking to a work colleague who has powerful friends. Back then he said that the elite class are going to try and bankrupt the middle class. That they want to make the gap between those who have and those who don't have even wider, and in the process grab themselves some bargains by buying up mortgage defaulted houses from the soon-to-be struggling middle class. Month by month I've watched as it's all unfolded. Taxed into oblivion. It's going to destination fact faced with tears of joy. AUS has been importing workers since colonization. The workers have enriched the country with their skills and contribution to the society. Immigration is a reality. The majority of the middle class are property owners. Their kids also live in an owned property. Australians are obsessed with property, and the middle class aspires to own their own too. This will accelerate more and more as inheritance and gifts ramp up. Plus, Australian wages are high, dual income is the norm, and property owners get a lot of breaks. It is imperative for the system to propagate that Australians own property. And you can see this is working pretty well. The media here are just the worst and simplest narrow narrative.